When you all were shooting the film, पता था कि we are making something special.
I absolutely knew it. I knew it from before we were making the film as well, because the story is sort of biographical for Nalin.
Biggest difficulty for a film director on a film set is to deal with children and animals.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Right.
No difference.
That's why I asked you.
so you have to understand animal which is hidden in Bhavin Rabari,
So which is the best compliment that you guys got so far?
The festival programmer is saying, look, he's the director, but before he could finish, children were shouting, no, but what is the name of the actor? Samai, what is the name of actor?
Wow.
So he asked me in German, what is the name? I said, Bhavin Rabari. And then they started shouting, Bhavin, Bhavin, Bhavin. And that was the end of the Q&A. The best Q&A I ever had in my world.
So hi Panalin, hi Dheer, how are you both doing?
We're doing well, thank you. What about you?
I'm doing great, and I think you guys must be very excited right now because I can see the excitement on both of your faces.
Very excited, very excited.
Very excited.
Before you can ask some questions, how did you get such beautiful black hair and how long they are?
Oh, they're not very long, It's here only. It's
okay. We both have a hair obsession. Sorry for this question.
Okay.
As you must have seen in last film show,
Okay. So tell me something. You are going to Oscars. It's a big thing. It's a huge thing. So I think I pretty much know that you guys must have been very excited जब पता चला होगा, that your film is going to Oscars. But still, I would really like to hear that from you both. कि कैसी feeling थी when you got to know about it? Because we were all very proud when we got to know about this film. Firstly, because I saw the trailer as well, and I loved it. And I'll get to that later on also. But I want to know how excited were you both, and what was the exact feeling then?
Absolutely, super thrilled. I mean, I don't even know how to put such feelings in words. It's been roller coaster ride all along this movie. But when the news broke that we've been selected, to go and rep India in the 95th Academy Oscar Award, we were busy preparing our release. We were just wondering how do we bring movie to rest of the India. We were doing, since a couple of months, we've been doing a lot of screenings across India. This is way before the news came, So we knew somehow that the film was playing very well abroad during the release, during the festival, were winning awards, and our distributor in US and France had already said we do believe it's strong contender and strong. All these words were used, but knowing the complexity and richness and diversity of our own Indian cinema, it's not easy to predict. That we decided we're just going to focus on the release and let's not think about it and just stay tuned to it. So it was a earth-shattering news for me, honestly. He somehow always knew. He had a clairvoyance. I don't know. We are going to get it. We are going to not.
He predicted this. You predicted this.
I wouldn't say I predicted it, but I would say that I was trying to manifest it as much as I could. Because, of course, as you can imagine, there was a lot of competition, and there's so much noise around the selection process and around films that I just felt that we have to stay positive and believe in what we've made. Of course, when most filmmakers set out to make films like how we did as well, we don't really think about the Oscars. We don't really think about the awards. We don't think about, any of that. We just make it with the intention of getting as many people in the world to watch the film. So I think that for me, obviously, at the back of my head, I knew that there's, very stiff competition and, anything can happen. But I had to, put on that positive front for myself, for the team, for Nalin. And I feel like somewhere that belief worked,
So when you all were shooting the film, पता था कि we are making something special. कुछ तो अलग होगा इसका, या कुछ अलग impact होगा लोगों पर. Did you know about it?
Yeah, I mean, you want to take it?
No, you can go speak about it.
I mean, I absolutely knew it. I knew it from before we were making the film as well, because the story is sort of, biographical for Nalin, in the sense that it is, very close representation of his own childhood.
Okay.
We in fact shot in locations from very close, from where he grew up. A lot of the props in the film are actually from, passed down from his family, from his mother and father into his family. Even including the tiffin is the same tiffin that his mother would give him when he was growing up. So even before the script was written, and when Nalin just told me his own life story and his own backstory, I was sure at that point that it would make for an incredible movie. And I was sure that anyone who watches it at that point also would fall in love with it. Because it's not just a film about cinema lovers or a love for cinema. It's also a film about human perseverance, and the human spirit to overcome barriers and to overcome obstacles and to have that sort of winning mentality. And I feel like, those are the kind of stories that inspire people across the board, whether they're young, 8 years old or 80 years old. There's a deep connection. Coupled with that, then what got added at script level with the family and the food and the films, it for me when we were making it, I was quite sure. And obviously, you only make a film when you're 100% sure about it, right? But like we knew, at least I knew we were making something special.
Okay.
No, for me it was, of course, like every film. I don't know about special or not, but once I fall in love with the story, the aim is how do you make the making process enjoyable so that everyone can come together and contribute the best of their talent and ability, and just make the film, really filmmaking as a process enjoyable. So I believe that somehow those, the love which you put in making it has always carried on. Maybe it travels. So that was primarily important, that let's just do our best, without really waiting what will happen to it, because you cannot have a film which is just driven purely by the deadline of delivery and those kind of pressure. That's something I've never made a movie like that. So during the process, yes, what was special was that yes, I did have a very special team, very special actors, and who just thoroughly enjoyed making the movie, and some of them could have gone and done better things, and made more money, but they chose to work with us. So that itself was something special.
Okay. But it looks like something special only when you even watch the trailer. But I watched the trailer and I absolutely fell in love with it, because being a filmmaking student myself, I could connect with it a lot more. And also one more thing, there's a special tagline that's connected with the film. When you have nothing, nothing can stop you. Something like that, right? So is there any particular incident that it's inspired from? If you could tell us about that as well.
I think the incident is very simple, that when you are, in the countryside, like the Kathiawad, where I grew up, there were all the kids who are there, and whenever we wanted to do something, it was very simple, that jugaad spirit, right? The hack job, whatever you have, if we dream up, okay, let's make bow and arrows, so you just get sticks, then how do you make arrowhead? So you put nail on a railway track and wait for the train to pass, and you will have arrowhead. So you were constantly inventing, and I think most of the great inventions were like that, and knowingly or unknowingly. So I feel that we never looked as a kid for excuses. Oh, we don't have money, or we haven't gone to the city, or we can't do that. We always, and that spirit, somewhere when I grew up, I sort of start missing it. I said, like, oh, why did we do, here I can have sometimes huge means and computers and people and cars, and I can't get one simple job done. And there, we wanted to go from A to B place. We just told the railway track trolley and we went, So like nothing stopped us. There were no consequences. The cops will arrest us or we'll get into trouble. So I think those innocence, and that beauty of that when you have nothing, it's not an obstacle, that
Yeah.
you are not really looking at your limitation, but you rather look that as a freedom
Yeah.
and say, okay, when you have dream, there is nothing which can stop you. I mean, because you would. I also believe that it's a bit like going back to certain Buddhist philosophy and Siddhartha's life. That when he had so much that it
Yeah.
took him so many years to renounce it, right?
Right.
Because if he had nothing, it would have been much easier. He would have been enlightened when he was 12-year-old. But he had palaces and life, and
Yeah.
and then that becomes an obstacle. You have to please your father who wants you to be king. You have to please your wife who wants you to be the best husband. You want your army to be the best. You want to give up
Yeah.
everything. So in the same way, when you have nothing, it's just easy. Nothing should stop you. We should just go.
Yeah.
And that's the little bit story of those kids who were there with me. And yeah, that's how the tagline is. That what it says, what it
Yeah,
stands for.
it's true also, but no. Also, there's one very important beauty in the film, and that is the character of Samay, of course. That is played by Bhavin. So, how
Bhavendra
easy was
Bhatt.
it for you to work with him? And because he's looking very raw, very natural. Uh, किस तरह से acting करवाई उनसे, and how was the exact experience of yours?
I think the biggest challenge was the casting. So, with my casting team,
Yeah,
headed by Dilip Shankar, Jackie Ramchandani, Nayan Rana, there was a whole lot of team of casting people when
yeah,
we started looking for, as the central hero, the lead character of the film is Samay, played by Bhavendra Bari. But this Samay had to carry the whole film. So, obvious choice was to look among actors,
yeah.
children who can act, but then there was no payoff. It was very disappointing exercise. We did go through it in cities like Mumbai and Ahmedabad. Then then we realized we have to probably change our approach. We need something radically different to look at the caster, and why not go into non-actor? And earlier with Dilip Shankar, we had, I did a movie called Valley of Flowers,
Yeah,
where in order to create a band of bandits and daku,
yeah,
we had done mega casting among real nomads of Ladakh, Changpas, and who come from Changthang region with skin baked look, and so we thought, okay, we have done it once, maybe we could try, but here it was for lead actor.
yeah.
So that non-actor audition started looking really great. As more and more children we saw, there was a hope rising, and they were all coming from remote parts of Kathiawad,
Yeah.
and that's how we ended up with Bhavendra Bari, because uh, but that encounter gave me confidence, and I was able to visualize the film finally,
Yeah.
and more I worked with him, and we did carry about 4 or 5 weeks of retreat, like a workshop, how
Okay.
not to act
Hmm.
workshop, it was labeled. So during this how not to act workshop, we were able to explore his quality and make him comfortable in front of the giant cameras and the
Yeah.
boom and on and 150 people standing behind the camera, because
Right.
that was challenging. Then the acting, he didn't have to act. He was natural, that's why he ended up. But right away, I mean, the biggest difficulty for a film director on a film set is to deal with children and animals.
Yeah.
Exactly the same,
Right.
no difference. you
That's why
know,
I asked
so
you.
so you have to understand animal which is hidden in Bhavendra Bari,
Yeah.
Human being, what he is, but what animal is hidden, and then you find that chanchalness जो होता है ना, चंचल इधर उधर भाग न जाए, इधर उधर देखे नहीं, distracted. So,
Yeah.
when we realize that, okay, how do you control that, and in his emotion. And also the second challenging thing is that the kids, non-actors, you have to get performance right in 1 or 2 takes. You
Yeah.
can't do multiple takes. They become artificial or mechanical. They'll
Yeah.
do exactly what you ask them to do, but
Right.
it's never that spontaneous. So that was again challenging for cinematographer and for the rest of the crew, that we have to aim for those couple of takes, that we can't have a mistake, technical mistake. Oh,
Right.
sound ठीक नहीं था, oh, he went out of focus. Those usual complaint we can't have. So that's a lot of, as I say, it was a collaborative work in a way to draw the performance with cinematographer, sound recordist, and working with Bhavin. And I think the rest, when you watch the film, you will.
Of course, of course. Looking forward to that. So I was saying, last film show, Chhello show has already got many accolades, many awards in various film festivals, and many great compliments as well. So, which is the best compliment that you guys got so far, as per you both?
I think for me the best compliment was that there's a Freiburg International Film Festival in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Where all the movies, of course, all the adults come to watch, but every morning they have a show for kids only. Like
Okay.
literally 3 hall films, about 800 kids watching in 3 different cinema halls.
Yeah.
And when I came, when the movie got over, they were just all really happy. And the festival programmer is saying, "Look, he's the director." But before he could finish, children were shouting, "No, but what is the name of the actor? Samai, what is the name of the actor?"
Wow.
So he asked me in German, "What is the name?" I said, "Bhavin Rabari." And then they started shouting, "Bhavin, Bhavin, Bhavin." And
Wow.
that was the end of the Q&A. The best Q&A I ever had in my world. They had no question. They just wanted to shout, "Bhavin, Bhavin."
Deep, what about you? Is that also the best compliment for you as well?
I think for me, every day we get new compliments, and what I feel is that every single show that we have, people say the most, they project themselves into the film in the most unique way. Some people start thinking about their own childhood. Some people talk about cotton plants that have been, that we filmed. Each person takes away a small different thing, and sometimes they tell us things about our film that even we didn't know about. They make connections. So I think the most important one for me would have been we were screening at the Beijing International Film Festival, where we were nominated for the Tiantin Awards, Best Director and Best Film. And in one of the Q&A, we had an interpreter who was a Chinese interpreter who was translating for us what the what the audience was saying. And one of the ladies has gotten up and said that she's a big fan of Hrithik Roshan. So some of the clips that play in the film where the kids goes to watch the film is from Jodha Akbar.
Yeah.
So she said that I'm a big fan of Hrithik Roshan. I've watched Jodha Akbar, and for me, what was incredible was that how in Jodha and Akbar you have a Hindu and a Muslim falling in love with each other. Similarly, Samay and Fazal, which is a Hindu boy and a Muslim projector, have their own friendship that's creating, and they're both happening simultaneously. And we never even thought of that, because it wasn't created with that intention. But when she brought out, and she's someone from China. Now, China is known to have not that deep understanding of religion because it's a post-communist society where there's no religion. So to see that someone in China was picking up on such nuances, for me, it just it blew my mind.
Wow, that's really commendable, yeah. I mean, I couldn't think about that either. But that's great. But I can understand that you guys have a very tight schedule for today, and I'll let you guys go for now. And I hope we can have rest of the chat someday, some other day maybe. But thank you so much for taking out time.
Thank you.
And I really wish the nominations hi nahi, it actually wins at the Oscars. I really want.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, and all the very best to both of you.